So let's now move on to main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
Our third topic is a perfect segue. Mike writes, "Hey, John. David Leitch, director of Deadpool 2, said that Deadpool 3 may not be rated R due to Disney wanting to integrate him into the MCU. But they want to find a compromise to where they find a, quote, happy ground. How do you think they should handle Deadpool to where everyone is happy? Thanks. Do you think everyone can be happy here?"
No. There's no scenario here where you make everybody happy. But then again, in life, there are very rarely scenarios where you can make everyone happy. When you do find those solutions, that's a special thing to celebrate. So it's not necessarily the end of the world that I don't think they're going to find a solution that makes everybody happy. For those of you who are wondering what he means by that, this was the quote that came out about Deadpool 2. This is from David Leitch, coming out of a report in Yahoo. "As superhero movies go, the Deadpool franchise is arguably the most lewd and bloody, but that could change now that Disney has acquired the rights." Now, and of course, now even change more because of what we just talked about with Disney now moving everything under Feige as far as comic books, killing a lot of the other projects, all stuff like that. That's according to David Leitch, director of Deadpool 2, who suggests that the next movie may well have a lower age rating than R to fit in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now remember, this is not some random fan, not some idiot YouTube pundit. This is the director of Deadpool 2 talking. He said it's rated R, so that's not necessarily the MCU brand, but he doesn't necessarily need to be rated R. And Disney don't necessarily need to make him PG-13. Yahoo. Now, this is the type of comment I think a lot of people who are big fans of the Deadpool franchise have been dreading hearing. An actual Disney person, let alone the actual director of Deadpool 2, because I'll tell you what, Rob, this to me sounds like, let's start warming up the audience to the idea that pretty soon we're going to be letting them know that, yeah, we're getting Deadpool 3, but it's going to be PG-13. And this feels like a statement that is just, to butter somebody up or to soften them up, get them ready for the real blow that's coming a little bit later. Because again, it can't be stressed enough. This isn't coming just from some pundit, some speculative thing, some analyst. This is coming from the director of Deadpool 2 going, guys, Deadpool doesn't have to be rated R. Now, the funny thing here, Rob, is that before the first Deadpool came out, and before they officially announced it was going to be rated R, I was one of those guys that said, hey, look, I would prefer Deadpool to be rated R, but it doesn't have to be. There's a lot of things you can do and get away with PG-13. Hell, you can make the argument that the Deadpool comics themselves are PG-13 at many times and in many ways. You can make this work. The difference, though, Rob, is that we are no longer in a period of time where we haven't had a Deadpool movie yet. We are now in an era where we've had 2 incredibly successful Deadpool films that have been outrageously rated R, and now that is what people are expecting. That is what people have fallen in love with. I think you could have launched Deadpool PG-13. I think you could have done that. It's not what I would have done. But the fact of the matter is you did go with rated R. And they were really raunchy. And now we have certain expectations out of this character. And I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think it is a much more difficult task now to convince the audience to roll back to a PG-13 Deadpool now that we've had R than it would have been to sell them on the, hey, we're launching this new character and we're going to do a PG-13. I think that would have been an easier sell. And now in light of Feige saying all these characters, including Deadpool, are now going to be under the auspices of Kevin Feige, all that kind of stuff. With this comment from the director of Deadpool 2, my fear, and it should be noted, it's just a fear because nobody's said anything official yet and probably won't for a while. My fear is exactly what we said before. Hey guys, if you want Deadpool in the MCU, you may get it, but be careful what you wish for, because if you do, it's probably going to be PG-13. And it looks to me like that's where they're heading. Rob, am I reading too much into this? Am I wrong for analyzing it that way? How do you see this?
I'm pretty much in agreement with what you just said. The thing about the Deadpool movies, I think, that made them so funny and so amusing to watch is just how irreverent. I mean, it truly is. Deadpool is like a punk rock album. It's like getting a Sex Pistols record when you've been listening to album-oriented rock like America and Bread, back in the 70s. Then you get the punk rock version of superhero movie. And the fact that there's so much over-the-top sex and body humor in those Deadpool films is what makes them what they are. Now, can you put a character like Deadpool in the MCU? Sure. You could also make a John Wick movie where he doesn't shoot people in the head anymore. He only shoots them in the arms and the legs so they're not going to die. But that's not John Wick. You know, that's not what people want from those films. Now, I think if you're going to make a standalone Deadpool movie and take away the body humor, and take away, I mean, body, not body. If you're going to take away the sex jokes, I mean, I still want to believe that Deadpool celebrates National Women's Day every year by getting pegged by his girlfriend, which is fine. And if they're going to take all that out of the movies, you're going to lose something. And I think part of the reason that we watch those films is for that blast of irreverence that we get in them. Now, the character of Deadpool can be interchangeable. Ryan Reynolds is a really funny guy, and I could see Deadpool working in an MCU film along with other characters. I mean, I would love to see Deadpool relentlessly making fun of the Avengers, relentlessly making fun of Thor. I could see that could be very fun to watch, but as a standalone Deadpool film, I don't know if it's going to work, John. And I was hoping they would keep the Fox brand so they could release a Deadpool movie that I want to see. But I'm not going to not go to a PG Deadpool movie. I'm just going to be very dubious when I do.
Mm-hmm. Right. And again, let's be clear here. It's not like Disney, Bob Iger just said, we're going to keep doing Deadpool and it's going to be PG-13. I'm just fearing that all signs seem to be pointing to that at this point. Chris, when you think about this and you look at the Deadpool character, of course, brought to life so brilliantly by good Canadian kid Ryan Reynolds, at this point, can you roll back to a PG-13 and make the audience happy doing it? Is there a way to do that?
I mean, can you? Sure. Will they be happy? Probably not. Especially because Deadpool kind of opened the doors for all these other really graphic shows that we're all now enjoying. You know,
true.
we're in a world of the boys now, and we first kind of acclimated to that because of Deadpool, and we love how he is. We love that he gets pegged and masturbates with unicorn slippers. He's the greatest. I want to see him in the MCU, if only to see him make Tom Holland really uncomfortable, because that's one of my favorite things in the comics, when Deadpool just hits on Spider-Man a whole bunch. I think that's always a fun time. Really enjoy all of that. But I just think, make it R. Don't be such little bitches, Disney. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, and the thing, like I've always said, you know, Bob Iger, I don't think he's going to allow that in the first place. And now hearing the Deadpool 2 director, who also directed, you know, Hobbs and Shaw, and directed the original John Wick, coming out and saying, well, you know, everybody, I just feel like he's softening us up. I feel like this is a coordinated PR effort. You know, have the director start dropping hints that, hey, you know, guys, start getting used to the idea of a non-rated R Deadpool. And this is my nightmare. This is what I've been worried about the whole time with this whole acquisition, is this stuff.
It's like when your friend has kind of crummy girlfriend, and it's like, well, you know, Karen really doesn't like me going to the bar in the middle of the afternoon anymore. And you're like, well, that's what we do, and that's fun. And they're like, man, no, I'm just going to go buy some new Dockers, and like, we're going to have a really nice weekend at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Dockers.
Like, don't do that to my guy. Leave him alone, Karen.
Well, but you know what? I wouldn't like a girlfriend like that.
No.
Another thing about this is that the Deadpool franchise, as it existed, $750 to $800 million worldwide
Each.
and that's what you're looking at. I mean, that is nothing to sneeze at. Now, in Disney's billion-dollar world, of course, that's true. But Deadpool is still that's some substantial cake for movies, and their shareholders are going to ask, yo, if you're not going to make Deadpool movies that make at least that much money, what are you doing? So Disney, I don't admire where Bob Iger's at with Deadpool here. I think that they're going to wait and see what they can do. I think Bob Iger says if anybody can make this work, Kevin Feige can. But there's no way Disney, under their Disney brand, is ever going to release an R-rated Deadpool movie as we've seen them. If they don't come out under Fox, they're not going to come out at all. You're going to get a different version of Deadpool coming out of Disney proper because they can't justify it. If 10 parents get angry and start some letter writing campaign or start a change.org petition, Disney is not going to allow that to happen ever. So,
is it safe to say that right now that our best case scenario is that Deadpool comes under the direction of Kevin Feige, but Kevin Feige chooses to keep it under the Fox brand and release R-rated stuff separate from the MCU. Is it safe to say that's our best case scenario right now?
I think so. And if there's one guy who could do that, it's Kevin Feige.
I agree.
And Kevin Feige's probably just as big a fan of the 20th Century Fox fanfare and logo as anyone, and I'm sure he would love to see that happen. But he's got to convince, our Lord, our overseer, my Lord and Savior, Kevin Feige, has to then go to basically God, which is Bob Iger, and say, yo, Dad, can we release an R-rated movie under the Fox brand? We'll see.
I really hope everyone calls Bob Iger Dad at work. Just, Dad? Dad, can we?
I've heard he makes some people call him Daddy, so that's a little bit different. All right. Anyway, guys, what do you think about all this? Are you hearing the director of Deadpool 2 saying, hey, guys, you might want to get used to the idea of an R or of a PG-13 rated Deadpool? Do you think they could possibly maybe keep it under Fox? Are you buying into my fears that they're just going to bring it into the MCU and rub it down to PG-13? What do you guys think about this?
Rub it down?
Oh, sorry. That was probably the wrong choice of words. I regret it already.
I don't think you can rub down to PG-13.
I regretted it immediately as it came out of my mouth. I am so sorry about that. Tone it down to a PG-13. I'm not gonna get past that. What do you guys think about that? Jump down in the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.